In the suburbs of Datong City, Shanxi Province, China, there is a group of grottos dating back 1500 years. This was a national project of the Northern Wei Dynasty at that time, as a regime originating from vast grassland. What reforms did they make as they transitioned from nomadic to settled lifestyles? And how is this reflected in the grottos? This is the story of this ancient site. Grottos are a type of architecture that originated in ancient India. Buddhist monks dug caves in the mountains and practiced Buddhism inside. After being introduced to China, the Chinese began to build grottos to show their devotion to Buddha. In 439 AD, the regime established by the nomadic Xianbei people unified northern China, ending more than a century of division and chaos in this region. However, this regime still faced great challenges. As nomadic people entered a farming region, how to govern the people under its rule was an important issue. Around 460 AD, the government built these 5 giant Buddha statues near the capital. To some extent, this was to strengthen people's recognition of the new regime. About these Buddha statues, I will leave the link in the description. In 471 AD, 4-year-old Tuoba Hong ascended to the throne. Due to his young age, the real power was in the hands of his 29-year-old grandmother, who was deeply influenced by Han culture. As a national project, the construction of Yungang Grottoes continued. It can be seen from the outside that unlike the original simple cave style, the caves built in this period all had external house-like buildings. Inside each building is a cave carved with Buddha statues, and the colors on these Buddha statues are better preserved because they are indoors. Since the Northern Wei Dynasty during this period was jointly ruled by the emperor and his grandmother, as reflected here, we can see 2 Buddha statues sitting side by side in many places, which is a metaphor for the political situation at that time. China is a multi-ethnic country dominated by Han people. Since 1000 BC, China, as an agricultural society, has gradually formed a complete social order. The Xianbei people, the rulers of the Northern Wei Dynasty, must adapt to this order to gain the support of the people under their rule. Clothing is a reflection of lifestyle. As nomadic, the clothing styles of the Xianbei people are very different from those of the Han people. This can be seen from the human figurines unearthed from the tombs of the Northern Wei Dynasty. To adapt to a settled life, the government ordered the Xianbei people to wear Han clothing and change their customs. At the same time, they were also trying hard to learn the Han language. We can see that the looks, expressions, and clothing of these Buddha statues are more Chinese style. This was largely due to more Han artisans joining the project. At the same time, the content represented by these carvings is becoming more and more complex. There are many Buddhist stories among them, presented in a comic-like format. This Buddha statue is nearly 18 meters tall, and is the largest Buddha statue in the entire Yungang Grottoes. It is said that Emperor Tuoba Hong ordered the construction of this Buddha statue in memory of his father. At that time, more than 100 years of war had caused many people to be displaced and lost their homes. Therefore, the top priority of the new regime was to give people land to farm. The government evenly distributed farmland deserted by the war to every adult citizen over the age of 15. They needed to pay a certain amount of grain to the country as taxes every year and keep the rest for themselves. But the land given to them was not their private property. At the age of 70, the land would be returned to the country, and they would no longer have to pay taxes. This policy, initiated by the Northern Wei Dynasty, continued until the Tang Dynasty 300 years later. In 494 AD, Tuoba Hong left Datong for Luoyang, 700 kilometers to the south, and designated that city as the new capital of the dynasty. Many government officials, troops, and people left with him. The national project of Yungang Grottoes has been suspended since then, but after that, many ordinary people have come here to dig caves and carve Buddha statues, and that is what we will see in the next episode.